Hello, I hope you haven't forgotten about me. My name's Nikki, or Beach with My Babies, as I'm known online. It has been 3 weeks since my last video, and there's a reason for that, and I'm very sorry that it's taken me so long. I got the flu, a really bad flu, barfing flu. Not like the I'm sick, I've got a fever. No, it was the flu. And obviously, as you can kind of imagine, flu and stomach surgery, not so good. So I will talk about that in just a minute. First, I'll do all my stats because I know people are interested in that. So last time I signed in, it was 3 weeks ago. It was week 5. This is week 8. Week 5, I was at 191. Today, I'm at 184. So I lost 7 pounds in the last 3 weeks, which actually surprised me because I am not good at that whole weighing myself once a week thing. I kind of obsessively weigh myself. I know I shouldn't, but I just do. When you do that, okay, here's the tip. When you obsessively weigh yourself, you get a false read as far as what your weight was the last week, kind of a thing, because I have found consistently that I always think I've lost less, and then I look at my last video to double check and see where I was at the last time, and I always weighed more at my video than I thought I did. And so my losses are actually greater in reality than what's in my head. And the only reason I bring that up is because I know if any of you are kind of like me and you're a little bit obsessed with your weight, you can be really hard on yourself because of your weight. And it's actually, I can understand now why they recommend, weighing once a week rather than, 4 or 5 times a week, because you really don't get a realistic glimpse of what you're actually achieving. Because I was convinced that on my last video, honestly, that I was at like 188 or 187, that I'd only lost about 3 pounds in the last 3 weeks. So I'm pretty amazed. Okay, with the flu. Let's talk about the flu for a second because some of you may actually get the flu when you're sick. Now, I was 6 weeks out from surgery when I got my flu, and it was actually literally the day that I was supposed to make my next video, and I got really sick. My son got really sick. I knew it was coming. I could feel it in my stomach. And I have noticed that since I've had the gastric sleeve surgery that my stomach is more just sensitive to stuff. I used to not be a barfer at all. I used to have this ironclad stomach because I hate throwing up. And I've found that now that I've had the surgery, I need to respect my stomach a lot more because it is a lot more touchy. As far as things I can eat, I have not had a problem with anything that I've eaten. I know a lot of people have issues with like chicken or with certain vegetables or certain bread products or whatever, and they eat it and they're like, they talk about their stomach as if it's like, an additional person in them. They're like, oh, my stomach, Charlie, didn't like bread. I've never had a problem with that. So I'm not talking the sensitivity with foods. I've so far been able to eat anything that I've put in. Except red wine. I should say red wine did irritate my stomach. It really made it really burny. Other than that. But barfing, definitely more sensitive. So I knew I was getting sick. I went to school to teach my first period class, and I called in a sub smartly at second period, and it was a good thing I did. I'm department chair this year, so I had to like do a bunch of stuff while I was at school. And while I was finishing up and running around and finishing my duties, because it was a big meeting day for my department, I started really having those like I'm about to throw up moments where I had to pause and things like that. So I came home and I called the doctor and instantaneously left a message saying, I know I'm going to throw up, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I threw up, and the next round, the first thing that I threw up was this yellow liquid, and I assumed that it was bile just because every time you throw up something that's green or yellow, you just assume it's, I don't know, maybe that's just me. I talked to the nurse, and the next time I threw up, it was dry heaving. And it was because I hadn't had any food. I mean, I'm only eating, like 800 calories a day, and the last time I ate was at maybe 9 o'clock the night before. So my stomach was pretty empty. And she agreed that she was really worried that I was going to get dehydrated, and rightfully so, because I'm still working on getting my 8 glasses of water in a day. And I went in, and as soon as I got to the doctor's office, I started dry heaving again. They gave me a nausea shot in the butt. and then they gave me an IV, and I hate getting IVs. I actually cried when I agreed to go in. I knew I needed to for me. I knew that was what I needed to do. But the idea of having to go in and get an IV, I just feel them. I don't like them. And so, but I went in because I knew that was the right thing. And I got an IV. I basically slept on this gurney in the clinic with an IV for about 4 hours. No, not 4 hours, 3 hours. And I got about a bag and a half of fluids in me. I managed, as soon as they got the fluids in me and I got that nausea shot, I was not throwing up anymore. So that was good. And then coincidentally, just the thought of drinking a protein shake when I had the flu made me want to vomit. It was bad. So all I ate for like those 2 days was animal crackers, right? And you're like, not supposed to have a lot of carbs, but that's all I wanted was animal crackers. And then I also wanted broth, but I didn't want like the canned or boxed broth because that didn't sound good to me. I wanted Lipton chicken noodle soup, but I didn't want the noodles or the vegetables. I just wanted the broth. So I drank a little bit about that, and then I also got popsicles, sugar-free popsicles, and those tasted really good. And by the time I got home from the hospital, I was feeling a lot better, not 100%, but I ended up eating like 5 sugar-free popsicles. I almost had to go in again for an IV. The next couple days were kind of touch and go. I never vomited after that. But I've still been dealing with queasiness since then, last couple weeks, as well as dealing with hydration. So those are issues that are kind of ongoing for me. Now the reason I didn't make another video is I was actually in a wedding. The week after that I was in a wedding, and I was doing a bunch of stuff I was helping out with, and kind of different appointments and stuff, you know, the girl things. Do the nails, do the toes. We got spray tanned, which turned into a tragedy, which I won't even get into, but it's me and spray tanning, not friends. You know, just a bunch of stuff, bunch of girl appointments. So I didn't have time to make it then. And then my kids got the flu again. So not only did I have the flu, but I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, they got the flu, and it was like barf fest central. My husband never got the flu. I don't know how he got out alive, I'll be honest with you, because we were all coming out both ends for days, and then both kids got a relapse about a week later. Ended up, you know, finding alternative childcare for one of them that was kind of on the mend, and the other one went to a slumber party because he had been on the mend for like 3 or 4 days. He was not contagious anymore. Got a call while we were at the wedding. You know, it was an emergency because she was really, really ill, my youngest, my 2-year-old, and so we ended up coming home from the wedding. We went to the hospital. I thought that while we were at the hospital, I was going to have to get an IV because I was still pretty dehydrated and I hadn't gotten a lot of sleep for the last week. So I have discovered sleep is really important. Keeping in your fluids, really important. You get worn down very quickly without those two things. And I've been playing catch up. And honestly, I am shocked that I'm down in weight because I'll be honest with you, with my flu stomach, this is fat behavior. This is the stuff that got me in trouble beforehand. I was drinking wine while on anti-nausea meds and Tylenol. You know, not really anti-Tylenol. I took anti-nausea meds and Tylenol in the morning, and then at the wedding, because I was feeling better, I was like, oh, I can drink wine and blah, blah, blah. And all the bachelorette parties and stuff, I tried some whiskey, not a lot, because again, it kind of that burny sensation, not the best. But white wine's been going down just fine, and I definitely was imbuing the last couple of days. So, not days, weeks. So I'm shocked, honestly, that I'm down at all, because really, between the carbs, I've been eating sugar at the parties, I've been having a little bit of cake and things like that. I've definitely been eating. I've gotten to the point, too, where I overstuffed, and I'll maybe make another video, because I know I'm running out of time with this one. But I went to a graduation dinner for my seniors, and I overate. I took one bite too many. Those stories where they say, oh, that one bite pushed me over. Oh my God, chocolate cake. I took one, I didn't hardly eat any of it, and I just took one extra bite because I just loved the cake. The taste was amazing, and I got so sick. Not barfing sick, the other digestive sick, and not good. So I'm now working on getting my carbs down, because now my body's got that taste for the sugar and for the starch, so I'm working on that, and I am trying to get more protein and fruits and vegetables in my diet. But as it is, my stomach's a little bit dodgy, so I'm still taking it day by day. But anyway, that's where I'm at, and yeah. Anyway, I will make, I promise, another video in a week. I will talk to you all very soon. Thank you for watching.